Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Love with Love Racing. Here for week 10, we're at Lime Rock Park Grand Prix in the Formula Vee. Here we're going to talk through one flying lap, and then we'll go ahead and do a detailed turn-by-turn breakdown on that next lap. Track conditions have been set up, so this should be very similar to what we're seeing next week. The ghost files from these laps will be available for download after, that way you can follow my line that way. Alright, let's get to our first lap. It's going to be a double apex corner. We're going to turn at the 1 marker. We're going to lift, brake just slightly, downshift in a third right between the 2 apexes, turn back in, get back on throttle. Turn 3 is going to be a very important corner here. We're going to want to get a really good exit, because this is going to carry all the way through into the chicane. If you find yourself all the way on track right there, you've either got on throttle too early, or you apex too early. Alright, through the straight, we're just going to minimize the amount of steering angle we're going to give. We're going to keep our eyes to the chicane braking zone. It's going to be the curbing on the very left side of the track. We're going to get down hard in the third. Turn in nice and early. Just barely touch those bumpers. Any more than that, instant death. Most of your time is going to be gained at the chicane and turn 3, so that's where you're going to want to focus on most of your practice. Okay, turn 8 should be an easy flat corner. If you find yourself having to lift, you're probably turning in too late, so try to turn in a little bit earlier there. Same with the final corner. Nice early turn in, very little steering input. We don't want to scrub off any speed. Alright, that was one quick lap at Lime Rock Park in the Formula Vee. We're going to go ahead and do a detailed breakdown lap on this next time to see if we can find where we're losing time. We're going to go ahead and lift and start turning in at the 1 marker. One thing to note here is you don't want to stay on throttle, turn, and then lift, because that'll end up rotating the rear end of the car. Our goal here on corner entry is just to hit that first apex and then track out to about mid-track. So we don't want to use too much steering angle here and scrub off a whole lot of speed on the entry. Here you can see about mid-corner, we're actually a little bit to the right of mid-track. We want to be pushed out a little bit wider. I braked a little bit too much on this corner, carried less speed, so I ended up not carrying it out as far. What that's going to do is that's going to really hurt your exit. And the reason why is we want to apex right at the end of the curbing where the arrow is. And right now we're going to end up apexing earlier on the curbing. We're going to have to lift a little bit more. We can't use all the throttle. We're going to have to use more steering input. We're going to scrub off more speed. There's not really any good turn-in references here for turn 3. It's just going to be one of the most important corners on the track. It's really hard to be at this consistent. Our goal is going to be to apex right here. And really this turn is just a trial of patience. We don't want to get on throttle too early. We don't want to turn in too early. If you do end up turning in too early, you apex right here around this arrow, you're going to end up pushing wide. You're going to have to lift, and you're going to lose a lot of time. Right, you can see that I'm actually holding the steering wheel pretty steady here, and what I'm doing is I'm getting the on and off throttle, help rotate the car, help settle in, and then when I find that I'm at the point where I'm confident I can get back on throttle, hit all my points, is what I do. After the exit of turn 3, we can evaluate whether we took this corner correctly, and this is what everyone should be doing after this corner, is look at your car positioning. Are we too far over to the right? Is that going to compromise our next corner? Or are we at mid-track, to the left of mid-track, to where we can take this next corner flat out, very little steering angle. Now we're going to focus on driving the least amount we can. We're going to keep the steering wheel as straight as we can and try to straight point these next corners. Right here, coming up to the chicane, which is the most important corner on the track, we need our braking marker. I see actually a lot of people that use these shadows as their markers, which is a really bad idea. iRacing, you have overcast, those shadows can be covered, and you're ended up missing your braking points. So really practice on static points that you always know are there lap after lap. Two things here. We're going to want to start braking right at the beginning of this curbing. We're also going to want to try to put our left tires just a little bit up on that. We're going to increase our radius for this chicane. Just a quick note here, if you do miss this braking zone, what you can do is you can just go through those cones and you can skip the chicane. You're going to get a cutting penalty, but you don't want to destroy the car, you won't crash. That's really something to think about. A lot of times, sometimes you won't be paying attention. You'll be in a battle, and you'll just completely miss that. That's okay. Okay, we've broken really hard. We've shifted down to third gear. We're using the bumper on the left side to open up this corner a little bit. It's really important here to stay in third. You want to be looking ahead at the chicane. Once you can kind of see both bumpers past this little barrier on the right, you're going to want to start turning in. You can actually get really close to these bumpers. You can actually run over them a little bit. You just don't want to straddle them. We want to be full throttle before we get to these little softed curbs. If we do touch those and we're full throttle, the car's going to be much more stable. While you're practicing, it's a really good idea to go back to your laps, look at your video, and see how close you really get to these curbs. Are you leaving a lot of time on the table, or are you pushing it right to that limit? Alright, now that we're through the chicane, we're going to straighten up the steering wheel here, and and we're just going to keep it straight as much as we can all the way through this section. Try to scrub as little speed off as possible. Make sure it's a nice early turn in here. And again, if you're going to be looking at telemetry, look at that steering angle. Make sure you're not scrubbing off a ton of speed on these high-speed sweepers. Alright, thanks for watching. That was 2 laps at Lime Rock Park Grand Prix in the Formula Vee. If this helped you guys get faster at all, please like, subscribe to the channel, go comment, let me know, where you got faster or where you think I'm being slower. Alright, I'll see you all out there on the track.